know that in America, democracy is hypocrisy. Now, if I'm wrong, put me in jail.
And this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington in this campaign, we are coming to get our...
Folks, go ahead and close the door behind you on your way inside and have a seat. It's time to review this episode of the Cultur Report. Yes, your one-stop think tank serving as an informative safe haven focused on the prime benefit of people, which is Black empowerment. I'm your gracious host, HT. Right beside me is my brother at arms, ID, and special guest featuring tonight, whenever you're watching this, is the one and only Lessa Davis, Les Dog from Texas Brown Sugar. Go ahead and
Houston in the house.
Houston in the house. Shout out to Houston,
good.
Texas. How you doing?
Excellent. Starting to warm up a little bit here in Houston.
Oh, I thought it was always warm down there.
Let's get live right now.
I thought y'all always had the sunshine and heat throughout the fall or winter, even in
Yeah, it's been feeling a little fallish.
Fallish. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's y'all definition of a blizzard down there. That's all right. ID, how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing great, man. Just chilling out. Like I said, just blessed to be with you guys, and great topic that we got tonight.
Absolutely. Go ahead and hit that subscribe and like button to the Cultur Report here if you haven't, and go ahead and scoot over to Texas Brown Sugar's YouTube page after you watch this video. Go ahead and hit the subscribe and like button over there to her content and her channel as well. And without further ado, let's begin. Folks, we have a young social media comedian by the name of dannyduces, if I said that last name right, who was on a radio station recently, and she was essentially asked if she was to be taken out on a first date, how much should the guy taking her out or a female out be expected to spend? So without further ado, let's go ahead and watch the clip to find out what her response is.
What dinner you having that's $400 the first night? What are you having?
That's the drink.
Okay, $400.
What's a good price?
$200 to $400. Let me explain myself. $400 is actually very good for a date. Let me explain why. Because we live in 2022. When I break 100, it's done. When I go to a regular restaurant, like it could be a restaurant I go to, like in Canarsie, it'd be like 150, 200 for like two people.
Yeah,
that's a regular restaurant. You feel me? Now, if we go to STK, if we go into Tao, if we go into Catch, if we go to this restaurant, it's gonna go like $200 to $400. But
DJ said
we are in 2022. A bill gonna pop out, and the bill about to be $200 to like $400. What is $200 to $400? If you can pay that, stay home.
That's it right there, folks. So you guys heard the response out there. We're going to start with our feature on this platform, Lessa. Is this young lady correct for her take on today's modern women in general to have the expectation of a guy spending anywhere between $200 to $400 when going out on a first date? Or is her train of thought completely warped here?
Well, we have to think about the point of view, the POV.
Okay.
What type of men is she dating? The average woman is not dating a young man who can afford $200 to $400 on the first date. Let's just be realistic. What I think she meant to say, for those who are living in middle class, we can't expect the first date to be $200. But what we do expect is for you to put your best, present the best, showcase the best. And if that best is a $50 meal, then let's do $50. I don't think the expectation is for you to go broke to show me a nice evening on the first date. her point of view, she's probably dating people who can afford $200, $400.
Do you foresee the expectation based on the response of a video such as the one that we all saw here going up in modern times? Do you see this as a sign that modern day dating, first date expectations are skyrocketing, or just going up, skyrocketing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So is she
It's sad
justified?
because we now see modern day women are, what they see in the media is those who are quote unquote teaching them how to get a man who makes 6+ figures. But the statistics show that there are very few and far between with those men. So either we're going to be single for the rest of our lives, or we're going to go ahead and be realistic about it. But yes, this is definitely going to get the modern women, give them the expectation that the man should be spending $200 to $400 on the first night. Again, I first date, that's a bit steep.
Okay. ID, same question. Is she correct in her train of thought, or is she completely just lost in her
Les
expectations
dog
here?
is spot on. And
Okay.
let me tell you what. First of all, shout out to Houston. When I come to Houston, I'm coming to Papa Do's. Let's
Okay.
look at Papa Do's menu real quick.
Shout out to Papa.
That shrimp
Yeah.
Cajun chicken tenderloins, $26.95. That's just one meal.
It's good.
That crab finger dinner, $26. The Cajun, what's the other thing I like, man? Those grilled Caribbean lobster tails, $30.
Mm-hmm.
That's just water in one of them tails. So if you are having a young lady out for dinner, you're definitely going to spend about $100 to $150 off the rip. And honestly, with costs going up because of gas, and that's not even your gas, that's just the meal. Your gas, you know what I'm saying? You may get an ice cream sandwich later on.
Yeah.
Real talk, you're going to spend about $200. And this is why most men don't date. This is why most men Netflix and chill. So we can pop out that that Tombstone situation, or maybe that Baron, you know what I'm saying?
I
Put
can't
that
meet
in
you at your house on the first night.
Hey man, hey, mi casa, su casa, when you ain't got no dido. So at the end of no dinero. So at the end of the day, most men are doing a Netflix and chill, or they're saying, hey, maybe let's do a Starbucks situation. You can get that honey biscuit and a latte, and I'll hit you with
Not
the
the
20 boy. You know what I'm saying? And maybe have some good conversation. Even going to the movies, HT, is about that 50 spot. You know what I'm saying? And don't let it get extra nacho dip. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be about saddening. You know what I'm saying? What's your opinion on the HT? Because I know you out here in the streets.
No, I mean, I see what's going on out here just like the next man or woman, but it does seem like the expectations are going up with modern women, such as this young lady who spoke on her standard of bringing no less than $200 to $400. However, it's when you get to that expectation or that level of expectation, you're definitely showcasing that you're more focused on everything else as a priority, more so than actually getting to know the person that is interested in taking you out, because the latter becomes secondary. So that's my take on the situation. It's not to say that guys aren't supposed to be producers, because men are supposed to be very resourceful. At the same time, in these very interesting times with inflation going just nowhere but up from the date of this recording and probably onward for quite some time, we're looking at high prices everywhere you turn, dang near. at the gas pump, food prices. And speaking of food prices, I'm sure restaurants are going to skyrocket their prices just a tad bit more. I probably shouldn't say skyrocket, but they're going to increase their prices in order to accommodate these interesting times that we're in. So I think that if you're going to really be interested in somebody, then don't necessarily focus on somebody meeting high-end needs for you per se. If they can afford to do it, great. But if not, that should be great as well. But I'll leave you guys with the last thoughts before we end today's show. Don't speak all at once, folks. Les, you can set it off.
Again, it's all about your point of view, your POV. You know, she may be dating high caliber men, and congratulations to her, because they're few and far between. I just hope that it doesn't become the normal expectation, because I love my Black sisters. I love the Black woman, and I want to see her win.
We do too.
And I want to see her win with all of her dreams, expectations. And so I think maybe we need to make sure we have realistic expectations. And $400 first night dinner is a very high expectation.
ID, send us home here on the Culture Report.
I agree. But this thing, man, it's just the new wave, man. That's pretty much what it is. And my man's face says it all right here in this photo. And let's even go further, and let's even break it down per state. Alabama, the average cost on a date is $87. New York is $297 on the higher end. So at the end of the day, the young lady is correct. Danny's spot on. It's sad, but that's what it is. Even in Texas, it's 110. So at the end of the day, and that's the second, the 22nd highest. So it's crazy right now. Like I said, New York's the highest at 300. So at the end of the day, if you're really trying to date, you need to save your ducats. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like, it's basically getting down to a financial choice when it comes to dating nowadays. And so, can you really the question is can the average man afford to date? And my answer right now is probably no. And so this is why you see more online hookups, you see more Hinge, you see more Bumble situations, and you might see a lot of Tinder situations too, which is more of a hookup culture. Because, hey man, at the end of the day, can you really afford not only a date, but can you afford to take care of that woman for the rest of your life on an average salary of $50,000 to $60,000?
Well, great question. And folks, with that in mind, with that salary being put out there for the average individual, what are your overall thoughts in addition to what was shared by my brother Adi and our special guest feature, Lessa Davis? Should a guy spend on you $200 to $400 to say the least on a first date? I mean, or should the expectation be otherwise, regardless of current conditions of pricing in various regards? Either way it goes, let us know in the comment section below. Check us out on Patreon here, where we are going to host our more exclusive videos and topics discussed at the Culture Report. And by the way, go ahead once again and subscribe to Texas Brown Sugar, Lessa Davis's YouTube page. Awesome content. You know, you're going to get a lot of great jewels in there from the one and only individual that's right below us here on the screen.
Yes,
definitely tune into go ahead and tune into her content on YouTube. We definitely want to thank you, Lessa, for joining us here on the Culture Report. Please come back.
Having me.
Yeah, absolutely. ID, it's always a pleasure every time we rock on this platform here. Thank you all for joining us here on this program as well. And until next time, meeting adjourned.